All right, what is up, guys? So, the Dark and Darker dev cast happened yesterday. I think it was yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday. They happened yesterday. And as expected, for the most part, a lot of this what like that they talked about wasn't. Well, I'm not honestly. That's not even necessarily true. A lot of they talked about was the PvE mode, and technically speaking, it's not stuff we didn't know, but it's kind of like stuff that was all expected. But I mean, beside the point, it only lasted for about an hour, but they did actually release some pretty interesting information. Um, I would like my best way to describe it was not as much as we hope, or it's not as much as I hope for, but it's better than I expected, right? So yeah, let's get right into it. Also, like I apologize if what I'm showing isn't on the screen because I had to zoom in really far because so you guys can like read it yourself. Because in case you don't want to listen to me read it, you just pause it and read it yourself. But anyways, so to start off with, adventure mode, which is going to be the PvE mode. Um, they described it as a looter shooter co-op dungeon crawler experience, which is, I mean, it's just like this just means PvE mode, right? That's just co-op PvE mode. Um, they described as, or it's for people that are thirsty for first-person. Okay, I'm not reading all this shit, bro. It's primarily for learning the complex systems of the game with friends. It is linked to the PvP mode because you can move gear over. So what this means is, so before anybody starts freaking out, like, oh my god, I can farm all my gear there. Basically, the way they described this was most gear. I don't know if it's all of the gear or what, or just like specifically like armor and weapons, that type of thing. They will be non-tradable, so even if you find it in the PvE mode and you move it over to PvP, you will not be able to like sell it on the market to other players. So you can find gear and you can go and use it yourself, but you can't sell it, right? Which means you can farm arena gear and stuff like that in this, which is pretty good, I think overall. Then it drops up to epic grade gear and less crafting item drops. And there's no gear score or grade cap, and it's trios only. So, um, one thing. So basically, what they said. So, okay, also, so verse right here. Okay, let me read the next thing too, just for Q changes. Normals is now 0 to 124 and drops up to legendary. HRQ is one. HRQ1 is 0 to 224 and drops uniques but no artifacts. HRQ2 is 225 plus and drops uniques and no artifacts more frequently than before. Okay, actually, so I didn't need to read that. I thought that had relevance on the PvE mode. So I'm pretty sure because they did say this. I don't know if they said it's going to be out right away, but there will be like a high roller PvE mode. And in that high roller mode, I'm not sure what the gear is going to drop. I'm not sure if it's still only going to be epic gear, but it's just going to be really common, or excuse me, or if it's ever going to go up to legendary level. I'm not sure. Uh, I like I said because it's not on here, which is, I was reading the queue changes to see that, but yeah, it's not on here or anything. But anyways, yeah. So right now, just assume up to purple grade, and there's less crafting drops. And the way they described it pretty much is how it's going to be is it's going to be exactly like I said. You're going to queue up. You're going to have a bunch of other people in your dungeon. PvP won't be enabled, and you're not going to have collision with players. So you're going to walk through them. And yes, there is going to be a lot of griefing that they're going to have to deal with because you can still hit people, you just can't damage them. So hit slows are a thing. There's ways of griefing like smoke pot rogues, like aggro dumping mobs with invis, magic lock on wizards. All of this stuff is going to be a thing that they have to deal with. Obviously, not to mention, I think a major problem is the fact that whenever you queue up, if you get into a dungeon late, you're just gonna or like you're gonna run to a boss, and there's gonna be 10 people all trying to last hit the boss, and whoever last hits it gets saluted, right? It's stuff like that. But anyways, talk about the queue changes. So norms is no longer 0 to 24 and then 25 to 124. It is now 0 to 124 and drops up to legendary. I don't know if the legendary like dropping is different. I don't know if it used to drop uniques. I'm not sure because I never played norms. The big change, however, though, is HR. HR is now 0 to 224. That's it up because or that's better because it used to be 124 to 224 or 125 to 224. Now it's 0 to 224, so you can go in HR with Squire Kit, and they drop uniques, but they don't drop artifacts, which is really, really big. One of the main reasons there were so many artifacts this wipe is because you had so many people boss farming in 224 gear score lobbies. That was like one of the big parts of it. Then excuse me, HRQ2 is 225 plus and drops uniques and artifacts more frequently than before, which makes sense, right? If you can farm PvE mode for items and you can farm the 224 mode for items, then the highest, gear score, the hardest place to go that has the most risk should be the area you get the best loot, which they're doing, like this is getting buffed up here, which is good. I like this. I think this is idea. I think this is good. for artifacts and stuff at least. I think that's really good. And then PvE mode is on the world map, so it would just be something you would select. So, moving on, dungeon changes. The Expressman will be coming back. I don't think they said it's going to be back right away. I mean, maybe they did, but it will be coming back. Then, high roller bosses will not always be spawned, but can be summoned. They are summonable with craftable items. Sub bosses and high tier chests will have crafting components to summon the bosses. So, and right before we mention the next thing that you guys see right there on the right, I'm just gonna talk about this for a minute. My initial reaction is this is pretty cool. So one thing, like one very big positive here is you choose which boss you want to fight now, right? I go in, I have a Ghost King summoner, I can always guarantee Ghost King. I want to fight Warlord, I can always guarantee Warlord. That type of stuff. Really, really cool, right? Now, the obvious downside, how rare are these items going to be? Because if they're, even slightly rare, you're going to have the exact same thing happen with gold keys and skull keys that you have, where these items are just going to get sold on the market because it's more worth to sell them than it is to actually do the bosses, especially in like 224 lobbies where you can't even pull artifacts, which are the big money maker off of the bosses. If I can only pull purples legendaries because I'm doing 224 and like maybe very infrequently uniques, why would I ever do it when I could just sell it? And obviously, like I said, maybe these are really common. I hope they are more common than not. Like, I would go as far as to say they should be more common than a lot of like the green quest items, like Enchanted Dark Fabric, which is like one of the first things my mind jumps to for like a Lich Summoner. Like, I think it needs to be more common than that. Like, I shouldn't have to do 10, 15 runs without doing a boss and didn't do a boss on the 16th one, right? Because if you go back up here, and this is one of the things they mentioned too. They said they were increasing the drop rate also because you can't always fight the boss. Like, let's just say, like I'm going to be generous here, and I'm very much worried it's higher than that, right? Or it's going to be higher. Let's say I can do a boss one in every 3 runs. Because completely ignoring the fact that you're probably going to be able to buy these items off the market. Let's say I can do a boss fight one in every 3 runs. That means the drop rate would have to have been at least tripled just to equal what like used to be there, right? Because let's say I used to have 3 runs, I could do 3 bosses. Now if I do one run or if I do one boss every 3 runs, the drop rates would need to have tripled just to break even on my odds to get an item, which obviously doesn't work exactly like that because statistics and probability and everything. But generally speaking, that's the area you're gonna follow. So I think the artifact rate and everything needs to be at least probably 4 or 5x than what it used to be, which probably gives you like a 5% chance or something. But and like I said, that is assuming the items to craft them will be relatively rare, or at least not super common to where every single game I play I get the stuff to craft one. Especially since you're gonna have 3 different bosses, and that's different mobs, or different mobs you need to kill to summon different bosses. One, we don't even know what will summon them. I think obviously you have a few like pretty obvious ones. Like I said, I think the Lich, like Enchanted Dark Fabric, that's a good one. Like or slash Wraiths, Warlord, Skeleton Champions, then the Ghost King. Ghost King's the thing I'm not really sure about. Like there's maybe like the chance that you just kill like random mobs. Maybe Volcanic Ash finally has a use, or maybe like you have to use like the ectoplasm from the ghosts in whatever it's called in Ice Abyss, which would be weird, but Then at the same time, I'm wondering, because I don't know if they said this specifically. What about Cave Troll, Cyclops, Spectral Knight, Banshee, Wyvern? Are all of these like does this apply to all of these as well? Because if that's the case, then like I said, they're gonna have an entire market that's based around just summoning bosses. And like I said, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just Crypt bosses. They probably said this, and I just wasn't listening. However, it doesn't say it on here, so I'm just going based off what I'm saying. Anyways, moving on. 2 new monsters. Just to clarify, these are 2 that they did show off. They said there's, I think, 7 more. And you have the Abomination and the Cerberus right here. It's a big guy. And then it kind of looks like the Demon Souls first boss, if you've ever seen it. And then the Cerberus is just a 3-headed dog. So I will say this. Which is weird to me. Both of these look at least like mini bosses. I would say the Abomination looks just flat, like outright like a boss. And I think what they said was this thing is bigger than you expect it to be, which for me is a big question. It's like, is this actually just a boss, right? Because I'm looking at this thing, and if it's like really big, I'm like, I'm thinking, because they're obviously hell mobs, right? But I'm thinking, and I'm like, where is this at? Like, where is this thing at? because I genuinely don't have an idea of where you could put this in the dungeon and it fits. If it's like some huge mob, right? Like I'm thinking at least like probably double the size of the centaur, and obviously a lot wider. He's a big boy. I just can't see where you would put this unless it's literally like in the boss room. Like maybe what these things here, maybe the reason they showed these off, maybe these are two mobs that you have to fight before you can summon the boss. Like you go in the boss room, these two mobs are there. They're like just they're just strong mini bosses, and then after you kill them, you can summon the boss, right? And maybe they drop better loot. Like I think that'd be cool. There's coming. They would be like actual sub. They'd be like actual mini bosses for once, rather than just like elite mobs. But I don't know. This is all just speculation on my part. Water map will not be ready for the wipe. We all know this. Itemization changes. There is a new crafted spellbook, you can see right here. Not just a spellbook. They said they're adding several other craftable items. Please God, we finally get the craftable spectral arming sword from the spectral hilt. One day, one day they will do it. I don't know if that day is today. Well, I guess not today. I don't know if that day is in a week from now. But hopefully we finally get it. But yeah, this is the craftable spellbook. Looks pretty cool. Obviously, I mean, it's a spellbook, so is what it is. They said there would be new artifacts, maybe mid-season. The artifacts that we know about currently that have been leaked slash teased before, you have the Catice, or the Catisse, whatever you want to call it, this crystal sword. There is the Raptor, which is the Bardiche, the Titan, which is the Pavis, and I think somebody told me there was a Zweihander as well. But those are, if you don't know, like a long, long time ago, they accidentally put the names of the artifacts in the game, and one of the other ones was Dryad's Wrath, which you now know we have the round shield as. So that has, that means it has some level of what's it called? I can't even think of the word I'm thinking of. But there's some level to it that's like, okay, this is probably gonna happen, right? But I think at least the Crystal Sword will be definitely happening. Quest changes. They said there would be 12 weeks of gated quests. So this one is a big question mark for me. On the cast, Grayson said there will be 12 weeks of quests, and so somebody's like, "Oh, so it'll be leading right up to the end of the wipe." He's like, "Yeah, or like 2 to 3 weeks before the wipe ends." So they kind of like said they're going to be 4 month wipes, which I think is an atrocious idea. I mean, you can look at the player base in the game right now. We don't want 4 month wipes, bro. Like that's not good. That's bad. That's really bad. Like nobody's playing this game that long. But anyways, yeah. So the amount of quests have increased. There are new quest mechanics. All merchants now have a quest line. I think there was like one merchant that didn't before, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Maybe there isn't. Well, yeah, I guess the squire didn't have one, but I don't know if they're gonna give him one, which is weird. A new merchant that will have its own features, much different than anything we have so far. My guess as to this will be some sort of bartering merchant where you give them items and you give them something, they give you something in return. I can't think of anything else that would be like that. Or maybe it's like a bounty merchant, right? Where it's like, oh, actually no, now I'm thinking about it. It's probably a PvP merchant of some sort. I could see that. Or like a bounty where it's like, hey, go kill. It just constantly gives you quests. Like maybe like one every day. It's like, hey, go kill 5 players in the Goblin Caves, right? And then I'll give you some random item, or go kill 3 cave trolls, and I'll give you a random item, or stuff like that, right? Or you like every player you kill, you get like an item. You get an ear, like a Dark Souls ear, of what's it called, of the Dark Moons, and then you go and turn it in for rewards. Stuff like that could be really really cool. I think just more like interactive merchants that you like actively want to do stuff rather than just I collect a quest and do it. Also, the final quest weeks will have way harder quests with much better rewards. Uh, the only thing I can expect from them saying much better rewards are uniques, right? That's the only thing we haven't got yet from a quest line, uniques. So nothing else makes sense to me. Anyways, leaderboard changes. Around mid-season, there will be a weekly leaderboard for HR, and right here it's kind of hard to see, but they are showing off the old leaderboards. Um, these three right here are boss killers. You have Cave Dweller, which is Cave Troll Killer, I assume. Ghost King Hunter, Wyvern Slayer. So these will be like, halfway through the wipe, we'll get old leaderboards, which is really cool. I do have one issue of them being weekly. I think weekly is just like a little bit too fast. Um, Not even like I don't even mean like one like having 1 week to the or like the duration of a week being too fast. I mean, I think the problem is like you do it for a week and then it resets. You do it for another week and it resets. Like, what's the point, right? Like, why do I care about week 9 leaderboards? Like, why am I still farming the same leaderboards? I mean, on the same metric, I think it's kind of cool. Just like, oh well, this guy did the best for this week because Actually, I don't even know why. Wait, why am I even saying that? Now that I'm thinking about this, I actually kind of do like this because these aren't farmable leaderboards, these aren't AP leaderboards. So it just shows like, oh, this guy did the best for this week. Oh, this guy did the best for this week. And because they're weekly like this, you probably won't have like the Giga Sweat no lives farming it like hardcore. Like you will for the first like I'd say probably 1, 2, 3 weeks maybe. Definitely the first set of weeks. But other than that, it'll be pretty chill, and you won't have. Oh, actually, I loaded my Spotify. Whoopsies. You won't have like the people like hard farming it, so you can actually compete. Maybe if you're like not like casual, but like not a 40-hour a week Giga Sweat. Anyways, arena changes. Solo queue. This does not mean 1v1s. For anyone wondering, it's not 1v1s. This just means that it would be like you solo queue with like you have a random team. For arena coming with its own leaderboard, and before anyone like starts crying about them splitting at matchmaking, they said the way they're gonna do this is like maybe 1 week arena is solo queue only. The next week, you can trio queue, yada yada, so on and so forth. And this is just something that they're trying out, which is pretty cool, I think. Gathering Hall will not make it for wipe, expected. Twitch drops campaign. There will be Twitch drops right after the wipe. Well, 2 week campaign. You have this lantern here, which is like a mimic lantern. There is a cinematic trailer that will arrive, and skins plus cosmetics. Then in the item shop, they are going to be adding a gilded lobby skin, which I can actually pull up for you guys right here. Open link, and boom. It's kind of like blurry because this has been like saved like 3 times. But oh wait, hold on, let me zoom this out. There you go. Oh, oops. Check this out. It's really cool skin. It's really cool lobby skin. You see here. You got like a goose on the right that lays eggs and stuff. This golden skeleton that's in like 144p will be a skin that you can use. Bunch of really cool stuff. Bunch of really really cool stuff. All right, let me resize this. Zoom back in. Boop. All right, there we go. Okay, cool. But yeah, like this is gilded skeleton skin background. There's torches, yada yada, all that stuff. And then they said for the future they want to do more PvE events. I'm assuming like they did like the troll killer and stuff, but all that stuff is like whatever, like who cares. Then for the wipe date, they are scheduled for April 10th. It is midnight. Wait, what? Okay, well this is a lie. They said it was scheduled for midnight. EST. I don't know, but and also this is maintenance, by the way. Sorry, this is when they expect the maintenance to start for the wipe. This is not when the wipe goes up, and you don't have to be awake at 2 o'clock in the morning for the wipe. They said they expect it to start, the maintenance to start. And you guys know how Iron Mace maintenance is. They could, the game might come out April 11th, 2 a.m. Right? But it's probably going to be at least I would say 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 hour maintenance. So you could probably play it around the middle of the day. And if you have a job, that sucks. Better hope that's on a weekend because I actually don't know. Wait, what's today? Wait, hold on. Wait, let me check. What's today? Today's a Thursday. Yeah, so I hope you guys don't have a job because it's coming out on a Thursday morning. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much everything they talked about for the Q&A. Like I said, it was incredibly short. There isn't a lot that they mentioned. One thing they did say is that they said there's like half the content they showed, like the mobs, the craftable item, I guess leaderboards, all the stuff. They said they're saving at least half of the new content for the wipe as like a surprise, which personally I hate. Like I want to see the new stuff. Like that, that's the thing I want. Like I want you guys to show us the new stuff. Give me a reason to be hopeful for next wipe. Like I think they're fundamentally not understanding that's like they just expect people to come back and play their game. It's like, no, you have to give them a reason to. You have to show them the reason they would come back to play. They're not just going to come back and play, oh, I wonder if anything's new. Let me figure it out for myself. It's like, no, you show them, and they're like, oh, that's cool. I want to come back to try that out. That's why they do it. But anyways, and also, they didn't mention anything about the self-found mode. It has been confirmed. I think Ryan, 6 Days a Week, confirmed in his video that he made, if you haven't checked that out, that there will be at least 2 weeks for the self-found mode at the start of the wipe. This has been, it's 100% guaranteed. And during the self-found mode, there will be no marketplace, no trading posts, so just 100% self-found, which is really cool. But anyways, that is going to wrap it up for me. Feel free to leave your guys' opinions down below about, the video and stuff, like all the things in here, things that are coming, things you're excited for, things you're not, maybe ideas, maybe where this fat fuck's going to go, because I still, for the life of me, cannot figure it out. I said the boss room is possibly a mini-boss, but that just doesn't seem like... I think that's very unlikely, so I don't know where this big boy is going to go. The Cerberus could be anywhere. He could be anywhere a Centaur is. He looks like he's about the same size as a Centaur. It's just bulky. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace, peace.